Howdy, mates. Good afternoon. It is Monday, May 10th, 2021, and I have stumbled upon another perennial that we can find in the state of Ohio. So we are looking at a plant known as the golden Alexander, also known as Zizia aurea, I believe. That's the scientific name. So this particular native plant actually has a very close look-alike, also known as wild parsnip. However, the thing is, the golden Alexander, such as this one, is actually a native and causes no harm. Unlike the wild parsnip, it is invasive and non-native. So there's a couple of differences that you want to look for. So characteristic to look at especially are the leaves. So the leaves, you can kind of see that they have like fine serration. Unlike with the wild parsnip, the leaves are much more serrated and rough. But these have like relatively smooth serrations on them. Not only that, but typically the lower leaves of the golden Alexander, they're usually divided into threes as well. Unlike with wild parsnip, it's kind of like a cluster. And another distinct characteristic too is when you look at the stem here, it kind of has like that reddish color. Unlike wild parsnip, they don't have that reddish color on the stem. And another thing to note is with golden Alexander, they typically bloom anytime between April and June. The wild parsnip, on the other hand, actually comes a bit later. So you figure anytime between late June and even going into July. And usually by that time, that's when the golden Alexander is gone. Because it's another, in a way, it's also an ephemeral too. But by no means is the golden Alexander harmful, unlike the wild parsnip. I actually shared an article earlier this morning that actually talks a bit about wild parsnip. And it talks about a particular chemical that it has, also known as solaren. I believe that's the pronunciation. But that particular plant, it has a reaction with light. It's like a phytochemical. And it causes severe skin rashes on your skin. But unlike with golden Alexander, I can touch it as much as I want, and I am fine. But fascinating thing about the golden Alexander too, as you get up to the flower, so you see those three leaves here, but the closer you get to the flower, let me see if I can... Okay, right here, you kind of see instead of the leaves dividing in threes, it's divided in two. And then it finally leads up to the actual flower, which have clusters. And that's another thing too. Golden Alexander, it's a bit more uneven, like in terms of the actual contour of the flowers. Unlike with wild parsnip, it's a bit more flat. But yeah, they produce these very, very small flowers, which each flower has 5 petals, 5 sepals, and 5 stamens. Quite amazing considering that these are only 1/8 of an inch long. I mean, they are very, very small. And they're also a host plant for the black swallowtail. This is what they often rely on as part of their diet. Sort of equivalent to how a monarch butterfly needs the common milkweed. So it plays essentially an equivalent role. And I believe it has been used as a diuretic too, for particular teas. And I may actually share an article that might discuss a bit more about some of their medicinal benefit, which I'm sure there is. But yeah, that's the hardest thing between the two plants, is they both have these yellow flowers. But you just have to note the differences between the leaves, the time it blooms, and those are really some of the most distinguishing factors between the both of them. But yep, the Golden Alexander. It's awesome. So alright, mates. Hope you guys learned something out of the video. As I said, you guys are more than welcome to go on my page and check out the article that I posted this morning that talks a bit more about wild parsnip and why it is actually dangerous to come in physical contact with. Unlike the Golden Alexander, on the other hand, it is a native, so we are safe. We are good to go. So there's no harm in me touching it whatsoever. It's alright. Hope all you enjoy your Monday, and Journey on a Journey is outwards. Take care, folks.